I spent years believing I wasn't enough, not successful enough, not social enough, not put together enough. And the strange thing, I didn't even know I was doing it. So if you've ever felt that exhausting, invisible pressure to be more, then this video is for you. For today, I want to talk about the heavy burden of trying to be perfect and why letting go of that might be the most courageous thing you can do for yourself. A lot of us strive to become perfect. Some of us don't even realize we're doing it. But what is perfection, really? If we become more beautiful, more successful, more social, more wealthy, does that make us perfect? Most of the time, once we reach a certain level of what we call perfection, we realize it's still not enough and we want more. So it's like a moving target, something we'll never be able to reach. Brené Brown, a researcher and author who has spent years studying shame and belonging, says something that I think cuts to the heart of it. She said, perfectionism is not about striving for excellence or healthy striving. It is a cognitive behavioral process, a way of thinking and feeling that says, if I look perfect, do it perfect, work perfect, and live a perfect life, I can avoid or minimize shame, blame, and judgment. So in other words, we're not trying to become a better version of ourselves for our own sake. We're doing it so that we can look good in the eyes of others. There's a famous story I want to share with you. So in Thailand, there's a giant clay Buddha statue, and for centuries it just sit there, ordinary, unremarkable. Then one day, as the workers were moving the statue, the clay cracked, and underneath the clay was beautiful, solid gold. So the statue had been covered in clay during the time of war to hide its value from the invader. And over time, everyone just forgot what was underneath. I think about that a lot, right? So sometimes our perfectionist shell is just the clay we've built around ourselves to stay safe, to avoid being hurt, to avoid judgment. But our true value, our real self, is what's underneath the cracks. My name is Nalin, and I am a mindfulness practitioner based in Japan. I share real, honest human stories and experiences, something we all go through in life, and I reflect on them through mindfulness so that we can live each moment with a little more peace. If this resonates with you in any way, please leave your comments, and subscribe. I'm trying to build a community here where we can all be ourselves and feel heard. So your support truly means the world to me. I myself have been struggling with this my whole life. I grew up in a high achieving family and with a lot of expectation around me. And because of that, I believed I needed good grades, a respectable, high income job in order to be accepted or to be worthy. And that shaped the perfectionist in me. And for a long time, I thought that was my strength, to make everything perfect. Isn't that great? But as I started to discover more about who I really am, I realized what I value most is peace, freedom, and human connection, not a high income career, a director title, or a luxurious life. I'm a nerd who likes to read about history, philosophy, and my hobby is doing meditation and contemplating life. I don't enjoy socializing much, and honestly, I suck at small talk. Maybe some of you can relate. So this is who I am, and I am very far from being perfect. Before I started this channel, I asked myself, am I really ready to share my knowledge to the world? I am not yet perfect. Then I told myself, people are not looking for someone perfect to connect with. They're looking for someone real, someone who shares the same struggles, someone who is willing to sit with them in it. So I started this journey without being perfect, just me. And I am loving where this is going. When we think about perfection, there's always that sense of control, trying to make something become a certain way. But mindfulness is about presence. It's about recognizing what we have, who we are in the moment, and welcoming it. When we're trying to be perfect, we're not here in the moment. We're living in the future version of ourselves who doesn't exist yet or might not exist at all. I want to read you something from the book called The Spirituality of Imperfection by Ernst Kurtz. There's this excerpt from the book that I like. It says, "For to be human is to be incomplete, yet yearn for completion. It is to be uncertain, yet long for certainty. To be imperfect, yet long for perfection." He goes on to say that this is not failure. It is the necessary reflection of what it means to be human. We are always on the way, always slipping and sliding, always making mistakes. And the ancient voices insist this is not a problem to fix. This is simply what it is to be alive. So look around you today. Notice the imperfect things. The leaves on the trees aren't perfectly symmetrical. Some are chipped, some are oddly shaped, but don't they still look beautiful? The smile lines on your face or on the face of someone you love. They're there because of the happy moments lived, because of the laughter you shared together. So try noticing these little imperfections and learn to appreciate them and do the same for your own. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, if you're born a lotus flower, be a beautiful lotus flower. Don't try to be a magnolia flower. Each of us is flawed and unique. Our stories, our experiences, our memories shaped who we are. We're one of a kind. So don't spend your one life trying to be someone else's version of perfect. One practice you could do is to close your eyes and think of a flaw you've been hiding, something you've been quietly ashamed of. Now, imagine your closest friend, your sibling, or someone you love deeply has the exact same flaw. Would you love them less, or would you see it as simply part of what makes them human? Another thing you can do is when you wake up in the morning, place your hand on your heart and say to yourself, I am allowed to be a work in progress. All of us are a work in progress. I am a work in progress, and so are you. We're all doing our best in every single moment together. And rather than trying to be perfect, it's okay to just try to be good enough. Because underneath the clay, underneath the armor we've built to protect ourselves, we are already uniquely beautiful as we are. What is the one thing you've been holding back on because you're afraid it won't be perfect? Let me know in the comments if you're comfortable sharing. It also helps the channel grow if you leave your comments, like the video, and subscribe. So thank you so much for doing that. Well, take care of yourself. Remember to be kind, be present, and I will see you in the next video.